and soul adventure piece of literature with a taste of personal expansion, spiritual awakening, surrender, trust, and a hint of immense transformation. Written by former CEO and successful businessman Lenerd Louw, the offering is the latest memoir to hit the shelves. In the book, Lenerd shares his raw, intimate, and inspirational 5-year journey he embarked on to tour 35 countries across the globe in search of his true self. Lenerd is here in studio to shed more light on the journey that he shares in the book. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Good morning, Paul. It's wonderful being here. Thank you.
Before we get into the crux of the book, let's perhaps start with what propelled you back in 2012 to embark on this journey, the soul-finding journey, self-discovery journey.
Yes, it's quite crazy. I had this inner shift that happened with me, and I had this voice saying to me that I should do something different with my life now. Now, in hindsight, it makes a lot of sense, but then it was quite confusing. But yeah, it's just a shift. Up until then, I enjoyed what I was doing, and then those last few years, there was just another route for me, another path for me, and yeah, so I tried for a while to drown the voice. With a lot of, I've probably seen in the book, a lot of sex, drugs, and jacuzzis. Couldn't drown it, and then eventually, surrendered to the voice, and or the intuition, and then then changed the path.
Let's talk about rock bottom, that walk down Clifton Beach, as you had put it in the book. What was currently happening there, and what was all happening in your head?
Oh, Paul, it's spot on. I call it my rock bottom Clifton walk. It's probably about 3 years, that the last 3 years leading up to that, where I felt that I was something different. I've achieved what I wanted in life, and I had a lot of fun doing it. But there was something different. There was something else, for me going forward. And when I walked on that Clifton Beach walk, I really felt it really hit home. I was trying to get away from this shift. I was a successful guy, and I'm making money, and all what the normal world will think would be successful. Whilst internally, I wasn't really in a good place, because I wasn't really following, I think, my soul path. The soul path changed. Yes, and I was on Clifton Beach, beautiful day, the sun out, the white sand, and a beautiful mountain, and Table Mountain up there, and the blue, turquoise sea. And I was walking there, and after 5 minutes, I was bored. I looked around, and I said, "Wow, this objectively speaking must be beautiful."
Like, is this all? There's got to be more to life.
It is just crazy, and then I realized the insanity of it. It was obviously a beautiful place, but I couldn't see the beauty in it anymore. It was like really going right over my head. And then I knew I was in really big trouble. In such a beautiful environment, I was really out of alignment with myself. With my soul. And that was quite a rock bottom walk.
There are quite a lot of shifts that you then experienced as you went on this journey. In the book, you speak vividly about, sacred sexuality, and why sex had changed for you, and how it had become so powerful once you became sort of, if you use it consciously. Juxtaposing that to how you were living when you were trying to drown out that voice. Completely two different men.
It's amazing. It's almost, I don't know, maybe sometimes the pendulum had to swing all the way to the one side to come back to the other side, and you find like a middle route. I'm not sure. But yes, no, the journey itself just opened up so much. It's really a journey within, it's not a jump out of necessarily anything, So it's a jump inside. That's what I really realized, and a jump, into a higher, consciousness for I think for the planet, all of us. It's almost my story, as I see it's a story of a lot of people around me at the moment. And yes, a lot of things change. Especially in the sexuality space.
Yes, the celibacy.
Yes.
A tough thing to do.
Yes, it was. And the amazing thing was, it wasn't a mind thing. It wasn't my mind saying to me, "I'm going to now be celibate for X amount of time or 2 years." It was just naturally happened. It was naturally my looking back, my soul, my spirit saying, take some time out. The only way to really drop deep within was to, not to interact with the outer feminine. And I write about the book, by, connecting then with the inner feminine.
Yeah. There was a time, though, you came back to South Africa and you kind of found that the country seemed foreign to you and was boring. I mean, compared to the journey that you'd been on, 35 countries, that is absolutely huge. And in one of your travels, you had gone to India to meditate. Just briefly take us through that and how that changed your inner self and how it helped you connect to who you were.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, pal. There were so many synchronicities in this journey. And at that point in time, I was in Thailand, a beautiful little island called Koh Phangan. And, I would normally only like a day or two before decide where I'm going to go next. And I had a message from a friend of mine that was in India and in McLeodganj, just north of Dharamsala. And I wanted to meditate. And he said, wow, this is a good place. I wanted to go to the Osho Center in Pune first. But then I thought, no, let me go to McLeodganj. Flew to Dharamsala and I arrived there. And then it is just amazing. Without realizing that I was in the same town as the Dalai Lama. My guest house, or like accommodation house, very basic, these places you stay in, like a mattress on the floor, and it was just beautiful being in that space. But my accommodation house was like 100 meters from the house of the Dalai Lama. And I just woke up the next morning and thought, wow, what an amazing journey, what a beautiful magical world we're in. How I just changed my life to be open to this magic by taking that backpack and that one-way ticket out, after I left. Yeah. Because then everything changed, it was a beautiful meditation. Every morning I would go up to Shita Monastery up in the hills and would, meditate, and in the morning go back and have my breakfast, the little local shop. And then one of the days we had a discourse with the Dalai Lama, we registered and we all went and we were sitting between the monks with their maroon robes and it was just amazing, and then he walked past me right, the distance that you and I took, this distance past me. I was sitting there with an Australian friend of mine, and he looked at us, and I got zapped by him, and that was really amazing. It was a really amazing experience. India was amazing. I spent 2 months in only 2 square kilometers in 3 tiny little villages in India. And it was really a beautiful time.
Transformative for you.
Transformative, beautiful time, yeah.
What an absolute journey. And you know what, off air, I'm going to have to ask you to share some techniques of how you're able to keep the noise out after you've done all of that meditation. But we'll chat about that during the break. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. It's wonderful being here. Thank you.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. That was author Lenerd Louw, and he was talking to us about his newly released memoir titled Jump, an epic travel and soul adventure. If you also belong to a book club or you're a lone reader, you can join us for our Sunday morning book feature to talk about some of the books that you're currently reading or have read. Just send us a detailed description on our email or on our social media platforms. Just take a picture and put a brief caption there. At Morning Live SABC is where you can find us on Twitter and Facebook, and our email address is morninglive@sabc.co.za. We'll be back.